Hello, it's Adrian Gonzalez. Welcome to Above the Fold, a segment here on Talking Logistics where we pick a news item from the previous week in the world of supply chain logistics and raise a question or two for you to comment on. In this week's news, the item I picked was the investment by SoftBank's Vision Fund of $1 billion, along with other investors, in Flexport. So Flexport, if you're not familiar with Flexport, they've been around since 2013. And they are kind of looked at as a technology-driven, freight forwarder. So the main question is, is this a smart $1 billion investment by SoftBank and the other investors, or to kind of quote the former Fed chairman Alan Greenspan, is this a case of irrational exuberance? Well, I guess it all depends on how you look at, Flexport. In many ways, the company is more of a technology company really than a, freight forwarder. And, one of the things that I wrote about a few years ago was how the value proposition of logistics service providers was beginning to get flipped, meaning that it used to be that logistics service providers, will position themselves as providers of logistics services, transportation management, warehouse management, powered by technology. Well, in recent years, what we're beginning to see is that script kind of getting flipped, and a lot of shippers are now looking at logistics providers as outsourced providers of software, technology, business intelligence, and analytics that just happen to provide logistics services as well. And in many ways, that's the way Flexport kind of positions itself. I mean, if you look at the company, I would almost look at them as a supply chain visibility, supply chain operating network provider that happens to provide, freight forwarding services as part of that. So through that lens, of more technology lens, maybe a $1 billion investment perhaps makes more sense, versus kind of a more traditional, freight forwarder, type of business model. But anyway, you slice it, $1 billion is $1 billion. And, are they going to be able to grow quickly enough and large enough to, make that return on investment for these investors who typically, expect 5x or 10x, return on their investment. And right now, the company, according to a Forbes article, they had revenues of $441 million in 2018, which was up 95% over the previous year. So fast growing company, but still, as they get larger and larger, those growth rates are going to come down. So how quickly can they get there? Is $1 billion a smart investment? That's the main question here. So look forward to your perspective on what's happening in this market and particularly in this case. So look forward to your comments.